So I've decided to do my research project on iPads and video games. And I actually have a lot of research regarding iPads and form of effectiveness and how they're used in practice, and I thought it would be interesting to think about how video games and these new literacies go along with that and how those theories can develop into practices in classrooms. So I usually start by looking for articles in databases. So if you're at our website, type in library, articles and databases based on lots of reasons, general and reference. I've been using Academic Search Complete for a long time, and it's usually provided good results. So I know from previous experience that more than one database is best for this. So Academic Search Elite and also Education Full Text and ERIC are good databases to look for such things. I also want to do scholarly peer-reviewed journals, as those usually are more reliable and tested. And I will leave all other markers for now. So I think I'll start with seeing if I have any more research introducing iPads. Maybe new literacies as a second keyword. Only 6 results, okay. Digital reading path, researching modes, and directionality of iPads. I think I have that one already. E-reading and e-discussion, EFL learners' perspectives. No. A framework for using iPads to build early literacy skills. This seems promising. Let's see. The quick adoption, go down to the abstract to see if it's what I need. Quick adoption of iPads coupled with many aspects targeting early skills. New way to build. Young children may be more proficient with using the technology than with literacy concepts and may not be maximizing learning. This seems to be targeting more literacy concepts, more so than trying to go away from technology, so that one might not be so helpful. Number 6, I do have that article. Past and future directions in content literacies. Let's see. No, this one doesn't seem all that good either. Back to the results. So I only have 6. I think I might need to change my keywords. Sometimes it may be the spelling. Let me just try that. And I'll stick with new literacies. No results. So obviously that one's a no. Let's try maybe iPad and online reading. Again, one of the same ones as I had before. So let's try comprehension. And let's try maybe internet. That might be better, more linking towards technology. 204, that sounds more promising. Using prediction, observation, explanation to enhance student interest. Nope, that doesn't seem. Old and the new, that doesn't really give me much information. Web scan, that also doesn't give me much information. Investigation of student motivation, interesting. part of their classroom discussion. Okay, so that has to do with something that I'm looking for. Using it as motivation, interesting. Whether intrinsic motivation applies to mobile learning. Could be interesting research in helping why they're useful. Let's see if it has full text. Oh, it does. Excellent. So this seems like a promising article. It talks about mobile devices and motivation, how that might be useful in classrooms. So let's email that to myself. Subject, let's do iPad motivation. And I know I want APA format. Use that for another time. Okay, let's go back to our results. Using mobile technology with individuals with aphasia. Interesting, I don't know what that is, so I think I'll click on that. This one has more to do with adults. I'm looking more for children, so that's not quite what I'm going for. And go to Good to Do app. That doesn't sound anything like what I need. Let's go to page 2. Seems like some of these results are focusing more on medical. Here we go. Integrating iPad technology and earth science K-12 outreach courses, field and classroom applications. Seems interesting, more practical application type of article, especially dealing with K-12. Journal of Geoscience Education, so it's focusing on education. Reading the abstract, they do spend more. This could be interesting, focusing not necessarily just on reading, but more of a practice in all sorts of content areas. I think it deserves a look. Let's see if there's full text. And let's see. Not available. Okay. Might be worth something to check into later, but right now, not helpful. Let's see. Human muscle. No, I don't want specific apps. I want using iPads as data collection tool. No, I want to focus more on how the use of such things helps students learn. Let's see. Let's go to the next page. No, Girls on the Move. Freeboot. No, these look more technical and not as much education based. Alright, so I think I've gotten a good idea of what kind of stuff is out there with these keywords. Let's change our focus now to maybe video games and new literacies. I know there's some. Jim G is a big one. Games as text, games as action. Okay, that sounds interesting. I see some keywords as critical literacy, new literacies, teaching methods. Multiple forms of literacy. Approaches to working with games. Okay, this seems interesting. Might be used for planning and teaching with about game stressing. Okay, literacy. This seems interesting. I think I'll email that to myself. Games 1, APA format. Well, first let's check to see if it's available for me. And that one would not be available. Seems interesting, so I think I might email it to myself just in case. Alright, let's go back to results. Youth teaching youth. That seems more... What's the word I'm looking for? Web design. Building ebook, no. Author disabilities. Visual and digital texts. Let's check that one. Adolescent visual text provides valuable resources for vision. No, that doesn't seem theory-based. Reading video games as authorless literature. Okay, so that seems interesting because it is a form of literacy in the new world. Video games. LA Noir was used to study Orthodox framing of English. Informs drafting of the study. I'm not quite sure this is what I'm looking for. It seems to do more with game manufacturing and English. Than real literacies. Here we go. Get in the game, encouraging play and game creation to develop new literacies in the library. Okay, so library might be a little weird. Let's check the abstract. So it's talking about things outside of the classroom. Okay, this seems interesting, how video games can be used to develop competencies in the classroom. Could be interesting for practice. Let's see if it's available. Oh, there it is. It is available. Excellent. So let's email that to myself. Video games 1. Again, APA format. So based on these keywords, it seems they're a little broad and it takes a lot of filtering to get through. Let's go to the next page. This one I might need to change my fieldwork. This one seems interesting. The older the new, I know Jim G is a pretty prominent person in video games. Academic. Oh, this seems very promising. Linked full text. Old and new literacies having to do with video games and less likely to do so. I think I'll email that to myself. 2 and APA format. Oops. Alright, so now that I have an idea of what's out there based on these keywords, I think my next steps would be to continue on with this, as it seems like this new literacies is more theory-based, and then I will probably change my keywords to have to do with comprehension and incorporation into the classroom. But